Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world on this Sunday, the 5th of May. Happy Sunday, everybody. Just Andy here from Two Legs, popping in for a few minutes for a little live chat, see who pops up for just a little bit on a Sunday. Unfortunately, my partner, Thomas, is working. I talked to him this morning. We went live last Sunday. Again, it all depends on our schedules when we can do these things, you know. Sometimes he can do it, sometimes I can't, and vice versa. So happy to be here on a Sunday and checking in. Another dreary day here in New Jersey of rain. Christ, I feel like I'm living back in Liverpool again. I think I've seen the sun like twice in 30 days. I remember that. And it's also twofold too. I got some new gear last week and I want to just test out. I got a new camera and I want to just test out the sound and see how everything looks moving forward. Also kind of why I'm going live, just to see how it looks live and for future two-leg shows. Hello, Beatle Eddie. Hello, MVP. Hello, Tony. James Boyce, great comment on my channel. I meant to reply to you. I will later. I think that's such a small world that you have a friend that lives in Ocean, New Jersey, which is not too far originally where I came from. And we were at a lot of the same shows. That was cool. She was at the same Moody's show and ELO show that I was at. So that was a really cool story that you shared on my channel, James. Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to be on Talk More Talk. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you. I got a new camera, so I think it's a little bit better quality now. So I was hoping it looked a little extra sharp. I'm not sure. With StreamYard, we have a subscription for it, but I think we only go in 720. But hey, if it looks good to you guys, and then that's good for us. Hello, Mike. I love the mic. Yeah. Thank you. That was a great show that David Gargolino and I just did yesterday. Unfortunately, my mic settings were not great. So if you watch that, David's going to sound really high and I sound really low because I didn't have my mic settings right. That's why we're going live today, to correct all that. Happy Let It Be week, too. Big week. May the 8th. It drops on Disney+. I'm a casual Hendrix fan. Not big. My dad saw Hendrix, though. My dad saw Hendrix at the Fillmore East. A friend in New Jersey is also huge, and that's how you connected. Awesome. And I love your thumbnail, James Voice, of looks like you in the underground there with Jeff Lynne touring there, probably 2019. Yeah. I have a question for everybody watching if they know. Tom and I are planning to go live to react to Let It Be when it drops. Now, is it dropping at midnight Eastern or midnight locally LA, 3 a.m. Eastern like it did with Get Back in 2021? Because we did that in 2021. We went live each night after each episode dropped to react to it. And we'd like to do the same thing, even though it's during the work week. We'd like to do it. But if it drops at midnight Eastern, we could probably do it. If it drops at 3 a.m. locally Eastern to watch the movie and then go live and then go to work, that's a big ask. So I'm asking anybody if anybody out there knows what the drop time for Let It Be on this week is going to be, because that'll help us plan out what we're going to do. Nice new Let It Be mug that if you haven't seen this yet, it's available in the Fest store. Got to thank the MVP for that. It actually lights up as it gets warmer. It's like dark, and then if the beverage gets hot, their faces light up on it. It's pretty cool. New coffee mug. Thank you, MVP. Again, if anybody wants a two-leg shirt, let me know. The MVP will get one to you. We just gave one to our friend Gary Wilbur. She takes care of all that for us. The O2 Arena. What year, James? 2019? Cool. Tony saw the Moody's perform Days of Future, and it rained. That stinks. You weren't covered? See, when I saw that show, it was an outdoor venue, but I was covered, and I was in the fifth row. Yeah. So what else is cooking? I'm going to put if anybody out there, Kit or Joe or any of our friends have ever been on and want to pop on, I've got about 40 or so minutes to talk today. So I'm just going to put that out there. And if anybody wants to pop up, if you've been vetted, I'll bring you on. Obviously, this is the internet, and any rando could just click it, so we won't let you in. Oh, did everybody see the short that Paul posted to promote his new photo exhibit at the Brooklyn Museum? He posted a short on his channel, which was so awesome. He had a clip of that girl Adrian, who, if you watch the 8 Days a Week documentary back in 2016, real thick New York accent. Paul, it's Adrian from Brooklyn, and I adore you. I love you. And then he cuts back to it. Adrian, it's me. It's Paul. I'm here in Brooklyn. Which, Paul and Brooklyn, I mean, just, yeah. I'm pretty excited about that because that's roots. If you didn't see that short, go watch it. It's on his channel. He posted it yesterday, I think. So awesome. And I will be going to that museum. I'd like to do a show about it, either live there if possible. I don't know. Obviously, probably can't bring in cameras and stuff, but the exhibit opens. It opened this past weekend, and it runs for 3 months. So I will be going at least once, probably twice. So that looks. If you're in the New York area, you got to get a chance to go see that exhibit because it was the one that was over in London as well, and now it's here, which is just awesome. Favorite part of the Moody's concert is when Ray Thomas performed. Oh, well, of course, Timothy Leary's dead. Yeah, very LSD-driven lyrics, admittedly by them too. Yep. So it's May. We got our shows lined up for the month. Talked to Tom this morning. We're going to do the Bootleg Show Part 2 with David Gargolino. Now that we've had more time to properly digest those bootlegs, so that'll be probably the first show in May. And then we'll do the Highline Ballroom show, and then we'll have Mr. Luca Perazzi on. So we have 3 new shows in May, starting next weekend, the 246, 247, and 248. In the meantime, I'm going to try, when I ever have downtime, which isn't like never, to start working my way through some more books. I'm still chopping away at All You Need Is Love. What am I up to now? I'm up to the interview with Magic Alex, that winner and BS artist. So we'll see how that is. A lot of this book is mainly just about the touring and these people's relations so far and their relationship with Brian, which I guess makes sense because it was Peter Brown. But a lot of these anecdotes are about Brian. The George Harrison interview, I read that this morning. That was pretty interesting. And I remember I said when we reviewed this, we didn't get dates about this. The George interview date is actually in there. He interviewed George at Friar Park on November 5th, 1980. Think about that. So this, really, really interesting. And that's in there where he kind of he says that he calls John basically like, an a-hole, basically. Because they had been so disconnected and they were a little salty at each other because John wasn't really referenced in the book I Me Mine. So the George interview, I was not expecting to be so revealing, and it was. And a lot of talk about Manila. The Beatles tour of Manila in the Philippines in '66, which we know was an absolute shit show, but a lot of their insiders talk a lot about that because it was horrible, ordinary passenger, like John said on the anthology. Am I going to go see Ringo? If it works out, timing and price wise, yeah, I saw Ringo once in 2006. And I got my Ringo CD autographed, the self-titled 73 autographed. Didn't meet him, but it was autographed for me, which I have. Yeah, I'd go see him again because it's we'll see. You have to, James. There's just so many. You have to check. You keep your essentials, and you either hoard, you scrap the rest or give them away. I've got tons of Beatle books, and I've read them all. But there's just only, you get to a point with them. I mean, I wouldn't trade any of them away. I wouldn't give them away, but I'm glad I have them for when you're reading and you're coming up and you're learning your history. So you just build it. So I still have to get to this one that I got at the Fest, Lori Kay's book, Confessions of a Rock and Roll Name Dropper, which I bought. And she interviewed John Lennon on December 8th, 1980, which alone was worth meeting her and getting her book, but it's not just about that. It's about her career as a whole and who she's interviewed. So if you haven't picked that one up, I strongly suggest getting that one too. And of course, our friend, I still reference it. I haven't read it cover to cover. Luca Perazzi, Stories Behind the Songs, Volume 1. This is the hardcover. Volume 2 will be out later this year. I mean, for really just thorough, this is the, this will be the essential Paul book to go to for his songs. Other than the recording sessions book, which Luca did good. But, I mean, this is that and then some. So it really becomes a reference book. So I can't wait to have volume. So as you see, and then, of course, the Dark Horse book that Aaron Badgley wrote, and he was at the fest. And I started reading this one. It's just, it's impossible to keep up with. And that's just Beatle books. Forget about everything else. There's no time. There's no time. You really could. There was plenty of Beatle books 20 years ago. And the list just keeps growing and growing. You really could. Yeah, I don't know if Ringo's I haven't looked. I know he's touring, but I don't know if he's hitting the New York City area. I would think he is. Probably Radio City. He'll probably do Radio City. I think that's the venue for the East Coast that he's doing. I'd go see him. But the All-Star Band is not what it was, say, 10, 15 years ago. I mean, he had Gary Brooker on there. That was the one I wish I saw. The All-Star Bands have been kind of stagnant for a while. But, hey, I'm at that point in my life. I'd go see him. Yes, Wes, we will. This will be Tom's first Chicago Fest. This will be my third. And we will be there. And possibly, actually, no, David can't be there. I think we thought maybe he would get a reunion there too, but I don't think David can make it. But yes, Two Legs, 2024 style, will be there. And doing, I'm sure, panels. It's a way off yet, but we'll be there. And really looking forward to it. I love the Chicago Fest. I love the New York Fest because it's where I'm from. But the Chicago Fest, it's just different. And people always told me that, but then until I got out there, I finally understood. I finally understood why. Of course, the MVP will be joining us as well and taking care of the Two Legs stuff for us. Chicago's great. I mean, and it's just bigger. You can move around, whether it's Jersey City or it's just, you're all packed in. There's no place to move. Hello, John. So Paul's exhibit just opened up this past week. Let me just look it up here so I know exactly the dates here. Exhibit. Yeah. So, yeah, it runs from May 3rd through August 18th. At the Brooklyn Museum. And it's on, I'm going to put this up, I want to put this link right on the chat so y'all can see it, because it's what I'm reading. Go to this site, and that'll tell you, if you can. You probably can't. I don't know if it's not clickable, but if you just go look at the Brooklyn Museum's website, which I'm on, it's there. So I'm just trying to see the times. Can you go all day? Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if Paul was happened to be there? Yeah. Yes, I have too. So, yeah, from now until August 18th. So, which will be here before you know it. So, get there. And definitely have a show on that at some point too. The photos are great. I mean, I bought the book, Eyes of the Storm. They're cool to see discovered photos. You take a glancing look at them from all over the world back then, Liverpool, New York. And we did a show on it. We reviewed it, I think, too. Photo books are nice. They're kind of like review and done. You look at the photos, take a look at them, and that's about it. I mean, it's nice to have. I just think, here's Paul's. What else are we going to find? I think that's as time's going on. We're finding reels of film, tapes of wing sessions. It's like we're entering this, guitars that have been in attics. It's like we're finding all this stuff now. It seems like every other week. They found John's harmonica that he played, and it's just something else being discovered all the time. That's a shame. I'm sure it ran for a similar amount of time. Yeah, for sure. I'm sure everybody enjoyed it. If you're a Star Wars fan, may the 4th be with you. Hope you did. I know some TV stations were doing marathons. So all that stuff. May the 4th be with you and all that good stuff. Tom and I are also huge Star Wars fans too. And we actually did a show on them too one time. So we get a chance to dabble outside of it. Oh, and it's Cinco de Mayo. I also call it Cinco de Ed, but that's for personal reasons. That's a family in joke. We call it Cinco de Ed. You know how I got the Ringo single? Tell me, Tony, how did you get it? How'd you get it? I saw that our friend Mitch Axelrod got, and I think Tom got it. I don't know if I'm sure Tom got it by now, the 7-inch red February Sky single, which was only available through Amoeba. And I have to give a really big thank you to Dylan Seavey, our friend who is the composer of the Two Legs intro music and outro music. Dylan knew that I liked Crooked Boy, the EP, and he sent me a picture during the week. He goes, "This was the one you wanted to get?" And he found it in a Nashville record store, and he got it for me. So I have to, take care of him. But that was really nice of him. He goes, "This the one you..." So I will be getting the Marble. The regular one's coming out at the end of May, but Dylan found a copy of the Marble Crooked Boy EP for me. So thank you, Dylan Seavey. He's great. He just started a new podcast too that he's been doing for a few months with a friend of his on Bob Dylan. He was telling me that a friend of his didn't understand what the fascination with Bob Dylan is and blah, blah, blah. And Dylan Seavey is a huge Bob Dylan fan. And we've had conversations about that. So he started a podcast introducing his friend and telling them why, this should be appreciated. And they're going album by album. So check that out. I have to see if I can find it here just to see what it's called. Dylan. It's called Discovering Bob Dylan. And it's a podcast on YouTube. And that's with Dylan Seavey. So check him out. Great musician and good friend of ours. What else? What else is cooking there? Two Legs faithful. Nobody knows about the Let It Be drop time, huh? Damn, I think it's going to be 3 a.m. Eastern, which means going live is not going to happen. You're right, Wes, because it's not. And Kit showed us her copy. It's not really. She said she was a little disappointed with the marble design, and I think Tom's was not that visibly either. But it's still cool to have. And again, I enjoyed it as I talked about on Talk More Talk. I did not listen to the new Sean Lennon interview Friday. Do tell, Day Tripper. What did he say? Well, yeah, there's also something called work too, MVP. If it drops at 3 and I watch a 90-minute documentary that goes till 4:30 and then we go live, how am I going to work? How's that happening? This month marks the 48th anniversary of the first time I saw Wings at the Nassau Coliseum on May 21st, 1976. It's been 2017 since I last saw Paul at the same place. Wow. So you saw Wings at Nassau, which was in May of 76. Awesome. Man, somebody who saw Wings over America. See, that's first-hand take right there, man. Oh, you signed up for Disney Plus? I've always had it. It depends on how you have it. You can get it bundled through your mobile cell phone plan. You can get it. It's not that badly priced, and it's worth it. I know a lot of Beatles fans who got it, didn't then cancel their subscription. I know that Joe Mayo said he just subscribed and kept it. If you like what they offer content-wise, Disney Plus has got a lot of great stuff on it. Outside of the Beatles stuff, all the Star Wars stuff is on there. Marvel, if you're into that. I am not a Marvel guy. There are too many Marvel movies. I tried a couple years ago. I really tried. But there's too much Marvel. We need that to stop. Stop. There's our friend. Tom was also at the Nassau Coliseum show in May of 76. Awesome. Another first-gen Wings fan. Hello, Tom. Happy Sunday. Sean Lennon is on the great new Lemon Twigs album. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really into the kids. I'm not into the kids' career. I think it's great that they work together. I know that Sean and James did something. I'm just not into it. Good for them, but I think it's unfair to look at them at the same way we do with their fathers, that they're not their fathers. I think it's great. If you enjoy their music for what it is, great. It's just not for me. Yes, he does. And he was approached by MPL for assistance on the 7-inch box set singles. So Luca knows his stuff. And before I even met him, I knew that he knew his stuff, even when I read his first book over 10 years ago. Debbie, the Girl from North Country reimagines 20. Yes, that I want to see. Assuming it's still on Broadway. I would like to see that. I'm not sure if it still is. 20 legendary covers songs of Bob Dylan. Got to see that. Yeah, I think keep it. You know, this way. I mean, I know most of us all bought Get Back, but it's still on there. I threw it on the other day just to watch it for 20 minutes or so. Wes says Wings of America was his second concert ever. St. Paul. What was your first, Wes? Got some icons here who saw some big acts in their heyday. Austin, Texas. Yeah. My dad saw it in Chicago, Illinois. He was in boot camp at the time, and he got to see Wings, you know, and just didn't give it any thought back then. Now we're just going to see Wings. Now we're like, what? I saw Wings. Sean is on one song of the Lemon Twigs album. It's not his. Yeah. The only one out of all the kids that I really enjoy some of his work is Julian Lennon. And that's not all of it. Like just the big, you know, stuff from Valot, the second album, you know, he's got a great song called Saltwater, which I always kind of think of as like the son of Strawberry Fields Forever. When I hear Saltwater is one of Julian's best songs ever. And actually George Harrison was supposed to contribute a guitar solo to that, but he never did. Julian's the only one I could really listen to in, you know, bursts, because he just sounds so much like John. He does. Yeah, if you like it, great. It's just not my cup of tea or coffee as it is today. Yeah, we'll see. I think a video popped out that showed, I think it was an official video of Paul doing Let It Be from the Jimmy Buffett concert. And still no news of a tour. We'll see. This year's probably is over with now. Summer tour is way long gone now. I would think we would have heard that back in the wintertime. So maybe something in the fall. We'll have to wait and see. We'll get some comments flying in here. Said that they've been working on the Mind Games box set for a long time. He said he didn't want to say too much, but I think you people are going to be really surprised. I hope so. Favorite John album. That and rock and roll. I know I'm on the record saying rock and roll is my favorite. That's covers, but my favorite original album of Lennon material, Mind Games. Tom, with Andy with One Hand Clubbing out in June, what hidden treasure would you like to see next? After One Hand Clapping? Anything. Anything. If he releases it, you know we're all buying it. But a hidden treasure, I would like to see Cold Cuts. I'd like to see him go back. If he's going to continue down this, let me go back to unfinished projects thing, I'd like to see Cold Cuts come out. Since it was supposed to come out in, 5 different times, 80, 87, going back even to the mid-70s. I'd like to see Cold Cuts reimagined and put out as a nice set. That's what I'd like to see. Tony, Leslie Ann Jones has a great book on John and a new book on Solo Paul. Is it meaty enough? Is it like 3/4 Beatles and 1/4 Solo Paul? You're saying Solo Paul, so hopefully it's pretty good. James's was his first gig debut, the Wings tour in '79. What venue, James? Was it one of the ones down south? I'm sure it was. There was only X amount of dates on that tour. David Jackson, hi Andy. Why Americans rate Ringo's music much more than us Brits? I find it's amazing. So many of his solo songs were included in the recent top 100 songs. I would have had photograph only. Kind of agree with you. Ringo's had his fans. There were a lot of Ringo songs in there, but a lot of them were early songs too. Like there was a couple there from Boo Cool Blues, which I think are worthy inclusions. The later Ringo stuff, early Ringo stuff, like, something from Rotogravure, sure. I have no problem with some of that being on there. Christ, in Liverpool, after he did that famous interview when he said he didn't miss Liverpool, you all went down to you remember that story? There was like those garden hedges of the Beatles, and somebody went to Ringo's head and just lopped it off after that interview. And then he comes out with Liverpool 8. Remember that? I don't know if anybody in the UK remembers that, when he said and then there was a garden sculpture thing of the Beatles in like bushes, and somebody just chopped Ringo's head off after he said that. So I could see why, in his homeland, y'all don't love him as much. He definitely gets much more love here. Yes, okay, we'll see you there, Tony. I've seen you at the last 2 Chicago Fests. Wes's first was Diana Ross. Wow, at Caesar's Palace in Vegas during a family vacation in the summer of 72. I was 13. I have no idea how I talked the folks into it. Awesome. Day Tripper was at the LA show in Wings 7. Okay, well, that's the one that Jack Nicholson was also at, which I think also was a lot of, there's a great soundboard recording of that show as well. You went to the Newcastle. David went to the Royal Court Theater show. Ha ha. I knew some people that were at that show as well too. And there's some great footage of that on YouTube as well too. We were given we've been shown some video footage of some promotional stuff that Paul did back then, and people queuing up for lines for hours. Yeah. Yep. You talked to LJ about the tour. He's so pleasant to talk to. We've had him on. We've met him at fests. He's awesome. He's totally awesome. Just a genuine nice guy. Will talk to you about anything he's ever done, and just outside of what he's done with Paul is an incredible. Go look up what he's done. Incredible. Jay Marty, hello, Andy James Fort Worth. You're also going to go to Chicago. Okay, we'll see you there. I think it's James, right? Yeah, that was a bad look. And then he comes out with Liverpool 8. Back off, Boogaloo. Yeah, that's a good song too. Yeah, those self-respective, songs looking back at Liverpool or his upbringing, those have been the strongest ones. And we talked about that on Talk More Talk when I was on there last week. Your mom's best friend went to the Royal Court Wings show. My professor, actually, Dr. Michael Brocken, was at that show too. From Liverpool. Yeah, cold cuts. I think cold cuts. Anybody at MPL, if you're listening to what the fan base wants, other than the obvious, we take cold cuts for sure. I don't know yet, Tom. Before you popped on, somebody asked me the same question. All depends if I can with work and family stuff. But I would like to. We'll see. David got his ticket via the Fun Club and was sitting with some of it. Well, half the audience was probably McCartney's cousins, second, third, and fourth cousins. It was probably all family anyway. Best McCartney concert that he went to was December of 89 at MSG. 2 dates. Yeah. I have a friend of mine that I work with. He was at it. I think he went to 5 of those. He went to all 5 concerts, and he said that was incredible. That's one tour Christ, I wish I saw them all. But if there was one I could go back in time, I really wish I saw the 89-90 tour to see all that Flowers in the Dirt material played live. That must have been really special. Playing all those Beatles songs live for the first time. Why is that echo popping on? This damn mixer. Yeah. Yeah, the band was great. That's a show. I want to try to do a show with Tom on that band, try to get some of those guys on. We've had, just to see, but they're pretty tight-lipped. I'd love to get Hamish Stewart on, Robbie McIntosh. We've tried to contact them, but to no avail. Because it was such a small window and that band was tight. I mean, he played with them from basically 88 to 93, and a lot of touring in between then and there. And Tom saw that band live because Tom saw the 93 show. LJ did some great work. Al Stewart, yep. Yep, you saw the Flowers tour in 90. Damn. Yeah, that's one I wish I could go back in time and see, for sure. Cold cuts and return to, yeah, they are. I think that would be the next one. Fun Club. Yeah. You've met Robbie twice. Robbie McIntosh, who previously worked with the Pretenders. That was how, and if you know, Linda was very, very close with Chrissie Hynde, who was in the Pretenders, and I think that's how that connection happened. And I know Tom's reached out to him. I have, and to no avail. But would love to try to interview some of those guys from the 89-90 band. Wickens, as you know, is still with him as the musical director. John, I know it's not everyone's favorite, but I'd like to see a remastered, restored. Give my regards to Broad Street. Yeah, considering that it's 40 years old this year, yeah, we would like to. And I'll give you a little hint. Later in the year, Tom, myself, and Ed Crawford, if you know Ed, Mr. Broad Street, we're going to do a show where we rewatch Broad Street in real time as an episode. Don't know if it's going to be live or recorded, but we are going to to celebrate. And Broad Street's 40 years old in October. We're going to do that in October. We'll have Ed Crawford with us, and we're going to rewatch the whole film. I know we did that once a couple of years ago, and we got some lovely comments about, oh, we couldn't really hear you. We've evolved, people. Our quality is better. We'll make sure that you can hear the movie, and we won't talk over it too much. So that'll be a fun show. David says, my partner works at York University and was pissed off when Wings played the canteen as he couldn't get his usual lunch from the canteen as Wings played their set there. I bet. Wow. Just imagine showing up. Yes, Wings hits Paul. We want to play. Sure, go ahead. So you're talking about the university, the university tour, the very first Wings tour. Wow. James Boyce. Hold on. Load. Robbie said he had nothing negative to say against Paul. I did ask him if they were gagged, and he said no, because LJ, we've talked to LJ too. I think Robbie was a bit hurt from being let go after the 93 tour. He says the concert tours were great, but was not that high and off the ground. Well, the early 90s were a weird period for Paul. Especially that band, his songwriting was very ecologically minded and political. If you go back to some of that material on Off the Ground, it is very, looking for changes, big boys bickering. I know it's not Tom's favorite album. I love the album, but I think, and then obviously Linda getting sick, and then the Beatles anthology project starting. I think Paul had felt that incarnation of that live band had kind of ran its course. And we all know the 89-90 tour was wild. It was much more successful than the 93 tour. It just was, because there wasn't as much, it was a lot of the same material. Yeah, and then of course the live album, we didn't get all the songs that were played live on it. So I can understand, it was just probably time to just pull the plug on that. And Paul spent the next couple of years doing the anthology and working on and off on Flaming Pie, eventually coming out in 97. So it's I'm sorry that Robbie feels that way, but it was just the time to pull the plug on that version of the band. Wes, everyone will always remember their first Paul show when Beatle cuts were played. You saw the Flowers tour in Ames, Iowa in July 1990. Everybody remembers. First time I saw Paul, I want to say it was April 26th, 2002, Madison Square Garden. Pretty sure that was the date, because I still have it taped to my tour program, the Driving Rain tour. And way up in the nosebleeds, I could give a shit because I was seeing Paul. I did not care. I did not care at all. It was just to be there with my entire family. That was awesome at the Garden. A 9-year gap from touring would probably put paid to Robbie's. Yeah, probably. All right, I'll give it a listen. I will give it a listen, but not something that's high on my priority list, for sure. Go back to the Brad. Ringo is great, but not my favorite. In my collection of musical files, I have 135 Ringo, 217 John, 291 George, and 1,228 Paul. Wow. Okay. That's a little bit of a lopsided number. Day Tripper. The 89 McCartney show at the LA Forum, Stevie Wonder was supposed to show up to do Ebony and Ivory, but showed up late, so Paul went ahead and did it. A half hour later, Stevie showed up and played it. I wonder if there's video footage of that. I know they played it when they did that show for Barack Obama at the White House. God, I don't know how many years ago, and they played Ebony and Ivory in the White House. And that was cool. Yeah, I think that's the least favorite one for sure. Plus, you had that god-awful concert film, which was shot in black and white and intercut so much. Crowd shots. Let's just see the concert. I think I watched that once and never again, because it's black and white. It jump cuts. The concert films, like, they all need to be like Rock Show. And Rock Show is like the standard for all the Paul concert films. Back in the U.S., crowd shots. And I love the guy singing and crying with his wife. We need to see the band. Like, get those cameras, 3 cameras, okay? One middle, Stage left, stage right, one in the middle. And you click and you just rotate from all three. 2010. Okay, it was 2010. The years are blurred. Thank you, Tom. I remember watching that. That was pretty cool. If you haven't seen that, YouTube that. Ted, Paul at MSG. Everybody, a lot of MSG. 89 votes here. 10 Ringo in New Jersey, 1990. Wonderful when dreams come true. Yeah, indeed. Brad, I brought tickets to see Paul at 89, but he got sick and postponed the tour. Later in 90, I saw the 93 show. What city, Brad? What city? Hammersmith Apollo, 2010. Oh, 2010 is one of his favorites. 6,000 fans. Intimate show for Paul. Yeah. Not as intimate as the one that Tom and I were at. Isn't that right, Tom? In June of 2007, with all 2,000 people of us crammed in there like sardines. Wait till we have that show in a few weeks. I can't wait to talk about that one. It was a free concert, but it wasn't exactly free. And I'll get to that when we do the show. There was a price to be paid that day. Dearly, but I got to see Paul for free. Up close. Up close. Literally. I wish we had iPhones back then. Lexington, Kentucky, and 93 Cincinnati, Ohio. Tom is working. Tom is working right now. So last Sunday I went live. As I said at the top, depending on our schedules where we're at, I can have, this time of year I'm a little more freedom, on the weekend to do something. So, but I did reach out to him beforehand to see if he was around, and he's working. But yeah, that'll be I can't wait for that one. That'll be Tom Liverani, his son James Liverani, and if you don't know their story, they'll tell it. I mean, what an awesome family. Got to play on stage with Paul. Incredible. John, I never got to see John Lennon live, but in '86 I saw in New York. I saw Yoko Ono when Sean was in the Wings. Cool. Yep. Anybody heard those new? I don't know if you follow the Star Piece concert. Oh, okay. I was wondering what you were referring to. There's some new mixes of Mind Games that the John Lennon account is dropping for like relaxation or something. If you listen to it on some app. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. I saw it on his social medias. If you listen to it, Sean, I said, we've prepared these new mixes of Mind Games for like ultra relaxation or something like that. Something to that effect. I don't know if anybody's looked into that. I listened to it. It's like, it sounds really slowed down and stuff. I don't know if you have to have another app to listen to it, or these are going to be mixes that come out, because we don't have a track listing yet for that box set, which, damn, I hope that's soon. Maybe they'll be. I mean, it's going to be, we're going to see how they release them. And just like they've done with Plastic Ono Band and Imagine, it'll be the elements, the mixes, the ultimate mix. They'll follow the same format, I'm sure. I just was curious what those mixes were, because it's been on his social medias. James, I had to fight heavy snow to get to Hammersmith, so it was worth it. We had a choir on WC, and he played One After 909 and Hitchhike. Awesome. Heard a very short preview, and I want to hear more elements. Yeah, let's hear the elements. The Leslie Ann Jones books, it's Paul in the 70s. Okay. It's called Fly Away Paul. All right, I have to look that one up. It's a relaxing thing. I thought that's what it was. I just don't know if it's Mind Games. I don't know if it's just the Mind Games track, but if you follow John on Instagram, you'll see that. It's on there. Fly Away Paul. Well, add it to the pile of books that I'll read, sometime this year or decade. Lou Lunmanate. Download. Oh, so you have to listen to it through that app. Let me guess. Do you have to pay for it? I thought I read something about that, but I didn't download it. Okay. And do you hear the full song through that app? I'm curious. Yeah, we talked about that. I mentioned that. Tom Liverani asked me what next, and I said the Cold Cuts project. Brad, unfortunately, I didn't have any money to see him when he finally came to my tiny Louisville in 2014, but apparently it's on YouTube, so I have to check it out. Yeah. Hey, Concert tickets are not cheap. Affirm, 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 baby, as Tom and I like to say. They are not cheap. But if and when Paul does tour again, I will be there. Because I think that's going to be it. I got to think he's going to come back one more time. I could have seen Paul in 2014, but I was DJing on my college radio station that night. Yeah, sometimes things happen. Here's a sad story. I could have went to the Grand Central Station show in New York in 2018 when he was promoting Egypt Station. I don't know if anybody here went to that. I don't know if Tom Liverani, you got to go to that. I remember signing up like it was a lottery to go, and I got notified. It was a Friday night. I got the email like at 12 that day that I was randomly selected to go. And I'm like, wow, this is great. I'm going to get a chance to go and see Paul McCartney at Grand Central. This is going to be awesome. But I couldn't go because I made a work commitment first, and I had to honor it. I had to honor it. It was a very tough decision, but I have no regrets. But I kind of wish I could have seen that, but I have because of my experience seeing him in 2007 that we'll talk about. I don't have that. I don't have much. I mean, I have a little regret, yeah, but I made a commitment to work first, and I really wished I could have seen it, but alas, it happens. Wes, there was a real interesting piece on CBS Sunday Morning showing Randy Travis. Why is my screen flickering? Whatever. Sorry about that. Showing Randy Travis using AI to make new music. Could be a game changer. Well, that's the real danger, isn't it? That's the real danger. Artificially making new music. Making new music or improving music, that's two different things. You know? If it's improving music, great, like it did with Now and Then, fine. If it's making music, then I'm out. And I think any music purist is going to be out as well, too. Day tripper. I live 10 minutes from Tom. Hope to meet him one day. And there's the flashing again. Sorry. The first concert ticket I bought cost $650 in 1975 in Fresno. Journey and BOC. BOC? Bachman? No, I don't know. Who's BOC? Oh, you weren't at that either. Recently listened to Primrose Hill by James and Sean. Maybe. The Take It Away. Now, did you win tickets to that? And you just couldn't go because you remember the Fun Club? Because that's everybody in that scene in the Take It Away at the end is all members of the Fun Club. Don't tell me you actually won a ticket and you couldn't go. Just watched that video the other night. Blue Oyster Cult. Okay, thank you. Not a huge Blue Oyster Cult fan, but that's $650. Wow. And that was before Journey was even huge too. Yeah. When I think of Blue Oyster Cult, I just think of the Will Ferrell skit. More cowbell. More cowbell, for sure. You did win a ticket. Oh, man. That's a stinger. Yeah. Don't know much about Randy Travis, but watched the interview and so happy Beatles haven't done that, and I hope I never will. Well, that's the question, isn't it? As we await the rest of the Beatles albums to get this treatment, you know, we're waiting for Rubber Soul, Help, Beatles for Sale, Hard Day's Night with the Beatles, and Please Please Me. And what's that going to be like? And when? You know, and obviously, you know, we're going to wait now for a little bit. Revolver was the last one in 2022. And here we are now, almost halfway through 2024. We shall see. I'm sure there's going to be elements of that in there. In the early 80s, I'd tried Journey albums in the cutout bin, only to have my excitement diminished. They were before Steve Perry. Aha. Before Steve Perry. We'll see. We'll see. AI and music being created, I mean, let's think about it. Once our heroes are gone, what's it going to be like? What's it going to be? If it's going to be all AI, I'll stick to my collection of music that I have in my house and be happy with it. And wherever music goes, I really hope that doesn't happen, because that would really suck. It really would. Day Tripper, do you like the slow? Of course, I absolutely love the slow tracks on side 2 of Back to the Egg. You're talking about After the Ball and Million Miles, and yeah, Winter Rose and Love Awake. Those are probably 2 of my favorites on the entire album. Love the Baby's Request. Love the side two. Love the slow tracks on Back to the Egg. Okay. Wings Over America ticket was $8.76. All my friends missed out on getting tickets, so I went by myself. Still have the shirt. Ted, enhancing is okay, just can't create new songs from AI. Bingo, Ted. Bingo. Farrell, based on the new Red album, I'd say those exactly. The Red album remixes, they'll be great. They will be great. And we know that they're going to be worked on because we heard them on the Red album. And I think the Red album still is the crown jewel out of that new stuff. Well, there's some new mixes, and I still enjoy I Am the Walrus with all those changes on it. And if you want to hear the real I Am the Walrus, you've got the mono to listen to, the original stereo. You got plenty of other choices to hear that stuff. That's why I get tired of that when people are like, oh, it's been ruined forever. People, you got how many different ways to hear I'm the Walrus? You could have the original record. You could have original MP3. It's not like it's never been taken away. Oh my God, I can't hear it again. Just another different way to hear it. That's it. Didn't see Broad Street till I saw this show. You mean Two Legs? Great musical scenes, not much story, which of course it is. Hello, GAJK. Sorry about that if I butchered that. Yeah, of course. It's very short on plot, but it's good on music. Is that damn flickering again? Ugh. Oh, well. Well, I'm going to start signing off now soon, folks. I've got some work to do, and I just wanted to pop in on a Sunday, rainy Sunday day here in the New York City area and just pop on and see what's what. Hopefully I'll find out. We'll be live at some point this week with Let It Be. Oh, Glenn. Hello, Glenn. We'll be live with our reaction to Let It Be. I don't know if it's going to be live or recorded. Stay tuned. But we will be live reacting to it. It is a one-leg show. My partner is working, and we don't work the same jobs. Our schedules are totally different. So he's free when I'm not. I'm free when he's not, and vice versa. So today it is. You're welcome, Tom. Thanks for popping on. Just want to read this last one. But that'll be bits I've seen. They'll become yes, and the trailer looks great too. So Mike Farrell, James, everybody in the comments. I can't remember everybody on here. Day Tripper, MVP, John Radshaw, James Boyce, Ted Linden, Day Tripper, Tony. Thank you all for popping on for a little bit on a Sunday. And enjoy your day. And stay well. Peace. Bye.